What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Chris from Light and Shadow Tarot here with another video for you all. So this one's going to be a little different. I know I just started this channel and it's probably a little peculiar to already be departing from the usual, but I felt really compelled today. You know, it's the day after the shooting in Vegas. 59 people were massacred, and I spent a lot of today feeling really helpless and apathetic in that helpless way, you know, like, what's the point of caring? What's the point of feeling? Like, what am I supposed to do about it, right? We go out, we vote, we try to have a voice, but ultimately the powers that be are going to do what they want, and sometimes we feel really helpless. And I saw some videos earlier today. I tried to really avoid it for the most part, but I was at the gym earlier and all the TVs had the newscasts on, and you just see these videos of people running and screaming and throwing on themselves on the floor and bodies and people ducking, and just, it's impossible to not feel something, you know? And so rather than be helpless, something told me that I should do this video. I should do this video and see what spiritual guidance, what advice, what healing, what messages the cards can offer. You know, I don't know what they can say or do, but they always surprise me in the best way. And so I'm just going to go ahead, again, using the Light and Shadow Tarot, the namesake of my channel. I'll clarify at the end with the Nature Nurture Oracle. And normally I would do a spread, but today I'm just feeling real intuitive. And I think I'm just going to start laying out cards and, you know, see what we can do here. Like, I just feel like as a culture, as a nation, as the human race, we're all like feeling this, you know? Like, how could you not? Almost 60 people murdered in like 10 minutes, right? Also, just a little caveat, if I get a little emotional, I'm gonna try not to, but just in case I do, just be forewarned. Because like I said, this is bringing up a lot of feels, and just can't do nothing, you know? We have this platform, YouTube, we have these cards that are just messengers of the divine, and, you know, like I said, we can vote, we can do all these things politically, but I feel like spiritually, emotionally, like, we need something right now, right? Maybe I do, maybe you guys feel the same, but I do. First card that comes out here, the Hermit. You know, I feel like this is saying a lot of things to me at once. You know, on the one hand, it's really kind of showing a people that's kind of lost right now, you know? Like, this is not just for me, this is for us, and we are the Hermit. We are trying to get through this darkness. We're trying to find our way. But to me, it also represents this sort of like cult of individualism that we've had, this sense of like, it doesn't affect me, so fuck it. Like, you know, we can sit around and we watch TV footage and we watch people across the country you know, crying and losing their family, and we feel for them, and then what happens a week later? It's over. You know, we're back in our little bubbles, our little bubbles of individualism where we don't do shit, right? The Hermit, like, he thinks about things, he reflects on things, he goes on journeys, he's a seeker, but he's a seeker, he's not a doer, he's not an actor. He just kind of goes along, right? And I feel almost bad. I feel like I'm ragging on this guy, but I feel like this is just like us. And I think I feel bad because I get why people disconnect in that way. Like the Hermit, like, he's disconnecting, you know what I mean? Like, and I understand it. I understand, like, it's so much. It's so much to deal with everything, right? How can we deal with our own shit, let alone the whole fucking world shit, right? Let alone people in a state across the country. Like, how do we help them get through this, right? How do we grieve? And it's really encouraging to see, because I think, and we'll see what else comes out here, but I think we're starting to get a point where, like, this is like old news. It's tired. You know, like, to me, the Hermit is always like, yeah, someone who's on a journey, but it's like the guy who goes into the woods and then comes back with wisdom. And for me right now, it's like this dude is finally coming back with something to say. You know? Something to say. Like, we have something to say right now. Thinking is not enough. Four of Pentacles. You know, in some decks, the Four of Pentacles, people will take it as a card of, like, being grubby. And when you look at these two together, I mean, doesn't that kind of go together? You know, the sense of, like, me. I gotta take care of me. I need to make sure I'm okay. I'm secure. Right? But also, the less, like, negative way of looking at this card is, to me, it's like, it's solid. It's a foundation, right? So even if you are feeling like this, right? Like, there's enough firmness, I guess you could say, that we don't really have to be that way all the time about everything. Like, we could put resources into more than one problem, you know? Like, you hear people saying, oh, well, like, now's not the time to deal with talks about gun control, for instance, because, like, we have to deal with these families and there's grieving and there's things to take care of and blah, 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 blah. We have to deal with wars. We're worried about nuclear missiles in Iraq or North Korea, and, like, there's bigger pressing issues and we're not going to deal with this, but we have, like, we can. Do you see how this card is sort of representing both what we have and what's keeping us solid and with the solid foundation, but also, like, how we're not willing to, like, expend that? Like, it's all ours. We're not, like, without that we can't face, like, more than one issue at once. And that's the problem with emotional things like this. Like, we're talking here about Pentacles, and what always loses out to money and material concerns and the immediate concerns, the emotional stuff, right? Because it doesn't matter how we feel right now, at the end of the day, in a few weeks from now, it's just going to be some family's pain. And it's easy for us to forget, like, how important this is. When we have to worry about the bills and, you know, if there's going to be war, and, like, we can't deal with this right now. We have to fix the economy. We need to fix jobs. Like, the heart doesn't have to lose out to, you see, I'm already getting, I swear I knew I was gonna get emotional because like I felt my heart like in my throat like all day. And I just kind of knew it was gonna come out a little bit. I didn't expect it to be so soon. But yeah, that just struck me as really sad that like things just pass out of being. When they're based in emotions, when they're based in death, like we can just forget about it. Time heals the wound, and then we're worried about what again? The same mundane bullshit. It's not bullshit. Like, it's important. You know, but this is why I guess I'm saying that we needed to like heal our soul, because like the Prince of Wands, because we're like hurting. And it sounds so cliche, every fucking hippie from the beginning of time has like, you know, been like heart and people and soul before money, and money is incredibly important, but at its best it represents like what you stand for, what you put your work into, you know? It's not an means in end in and of itself. And we have the Prince of Wands, which I feel like is just a big departure from this dude. I don't always like the Prince of Wands. He kind of can be like a little bit of an arrogant asshole sometimes. But right now it's like he is embodying this energy, this bravado of just like being able to handle shit. You know, and he's the Prince of Fire. It's abstract, but it speaks to the soul and the inner reality of us as a people, and I feel like we take that for granted. We always talk about what America is, but we don't realize that when you give something that much power, you know, like ethereal power where you can say it has a spirit and call it like by a pronoun, it takes on a spirit in a way, right? And this is that spirit of America at its best, right? The guy riding in on his lion, look, it's almost like his crown is like the Statue of Liberty. Where it's like, I got you. I'm the Prince of Wands. I'll protect you. I'll keep you safe. Fire and earth don't go that well together, you know? But let's see more, because the Prince of Wands, like, he's giving me some life right now. Like, he has a spirit that I think could be really important for us, you know? Like, we always talk about how America is like hot dogs and pickup trucks and the bullshit about what our country is, right? Like the material things about what our country is, but we don't even talk anymore about like when the Statue of Liberty was first put up, like this was an embodiment of the spirit of our country. Warmth and protection. And like, it's funny I say the Statue of Liberty, right? Holding a lantern, an icon, a beacon for people who are lost. This is us at our best. And even assuming that it's a prince, because we're relatively a young country, right? In the scope of the world, America is the Prince of Wands. When it was created, it's that place of promise and like upward mobility and all those things, and we were a beacon for people all over the world. And now, like, oh fuck. Now when I'm looking at the Hermit's candle, it's not like a beacon of hope, it's like a vigil candle. You know, like, where's that Prince of Wands spirit? Where we're the leaders of the world. Other countries could look up to us. We have the Lion. The Lion is like Leo. It's leadership. It's just being the emblem of like the greatest things possible. That's what leadership is. I just did the Gemini reading yesterday and I got the Lion for leadership, and I had the same talk. It's like leadership is not just being the biggest and the baddest. It's about representing what is possible, the best of what's possible. Our human ideals, our spirit, the best of the human spirit. You know what's funny is because usually with the Four of Pentacles, I usually push back against like the more negative aspects of it, because like I don't think it's a bad card. Yeah, in some decks it looks like he's holding on to that money a little tight, but he's like holding on to his shit, right? Like he's got solid foundation. He's strong. The fours are about stability and foundations. Four of Earth, it's the card of foundation. Look, the Capricorn is represented by this card, the sign of material well-being, if there ever was one. Practicality, hard work. Right now, this is not enough. You know, this feels like super materialistic in the worst way when compared to this guy. Compared to this guy, both who are a little more like ethereal feeling, spiritual. I'm not going on some anti-capitalist rant, you know, but it's not just about money. It's about where we put our energy and what we want to, who we want to be and what we want people to think of us, right? And what do we have here? The Seven of Cups. The card of illusion and fantasy. And just overall, in a nutshell, not being in touch with the truth. This is what we think we are. You know, that's what we think we are. We're still telling ourselves that we are this symbol and emblem of hope and like goodness and safety in the world and progress. But are we? We're still telling ourselves that this is all we need, right? That this is what's defining us in the way that we want to be defined. It's a lie. We're lying to ourselves, right? You know, when we talk about the Second Amendment, the spirit of the Second Amendment is very out of touch with what people say it is now, you know? Like, I'm not against having guns. Like, if we want to call that part of the spirit of our country because it's in our Constitution, then fine. But there's a line, you know? The spirit of it is to like protect ourselves, and if having guns makes you feel that that spirit of our country is kept alive, then we should have them. But what happens to the spirit of our country when stock prices for guns go up the day after a massacre. Do you know that happened? Like, that literally happened. Stocks for gun companies went up today. So do you really think we're still this? When that beautiful capitalism, that land of opportunity and people being able to work hard and earn a living and not be poor and have a house one day and all these beautiful things that this offers? Are we that? How can we be when we live in a world where stock prices for companies, which translates to people are getting richer because 60 families lost someone they loved? The senseless violence. Is that the capitalism that we want to stand for? The other kind sounded nice. The kind where you come to our shores because this is where you can work hard and we're not going to take your money away and your family will have safety nets and you can have everything you want in life. But this is what we are now. You know, the only card that could make that clear is if the devil comes out. I'm gonna pull more cards. I feel like, you know, and I hope like being a little political isn't turning anyone off too much, like, but right now I feel like that's, you know, the government has certain functions and part of it is keeping us safe. You know, both sides of the aisle, no matter what you believe in, probably the primary role of the country is to keep us safe. And we always think that's from external threats. What about the threats that are in this country? This guy was a 60-year-old white dude. Wasn't an Islamic terrorist. He didn't, like, illegally cross a border. This is within our, this is homegrown terrorism. And here we have this beacon of hope and promise, the 10 of Pentacles, right? This, the 4, at its best, becomes this, right? But look what else you have. Do you see, like, complacency? Everything's all right. I'm fat and happy at home. My life's kind of okay. My kids are safe. Because I really feel like without this, this is just an illusion, right? Without the sort of heroism of that prince that can make this into what I was just saying before, that land of opportunity and promise, when it's just this, this becomes this. A facade. You know, like, I hate to be so cliche, but the phrase, like, just wake up popped into my head just now, right? Like, if you haven't seen the videos of the shooting, go watch them. Like, get woke. You know, like, if you're disconnected, if this doesn't feel like anything that pertains to you, put that shit in your head. Try to remember, try to forget the sounds of those people screaming, oh my God, oh my God. And then try to stay here. Try to stay here. I think it's kind of ironic that, like, I'm using this digital platform and, like, right now the thing that popped into my head most as like a practical means of making a difference is telling people to use these digital platforms to get this shit inside their hearts. You know, the last time something like this happened was Orlando, and it took me like a week before I realized I felt something. You know, like, it was like a personal attack on like my community, which really fucking hurt. And I didn't realize how much it hurt till like a week later. I was doing a little summer solstice thing with one of my friends, and we were just doing a little meditation, and I just broke the fuck down. Go ahead and see it. You need to feel it in your heart before it's real. Princess of Cups, what did I just say about feeling it in your heart? You know, I almost feel guilty because the Princess of Cups is so young and so naive and like, but in the most like beautiful, optimistic way, that when you get older you kind of wish you had this spirit, you know, of just like happy-go-lucky, enjoying life, being in touch with your emotions as well, as crazy as they can be. And it's almost like I'm telling this person to go get their hearts broken. But is this real? I mean, as we grow up, we know that it's not, right? We know that our hearts are going to get broken. It's what makes us grow up, right? This doesn't last forever. But it doesn't have to like be completely shattered, you know? Like, this part still lives in all of us. Right? That's why we cherish it so much. That's why we try to keep children innocent, because we remember this, and this is part of us, and we want that to continue. It almost makes me wonder what children are thinking about this. Are there little kids in a car home saying like, another shooting, wow, they never stop. Like, from the mouths of babes, you know, like. But we can be this, like, we can have this jovial spirit, you know? Like, we can still, like, take care of business and be honest about our emotions without, like, it breaking us. You know? Like, it's what makes us stronger. It's kind of like the princess's, like, process. She's gonna become the queen one day, right? These just jumped out at me. 10 of Cups. The Emperor. The 6 of Cups. bottom of the deck. Huh. What was I just about to say as these cards popped out of me? This is the princess's journey to becoming the queen. The Queen of Cups. At the bottom of the deck, underlying all of this. Right? And it's kind of fitting that we think of our country in like the feminine, right? Because this is underlying everything. The queen. The master of her emotions, but like not closed off to them. She's the master of them because she knows how to like wrangle them. You know, like she's honest, but look at how look at how alive she is though, you know? She's surrounded by bounty, she's surrounded by emotion and love, and this is still a part of her, but it's like, this is not, this is like this part of her. And then what do we have here? 10 of Cups. There's a lot of cups, right? It's emotional. Talk about more cups. The 6 of Cups. Cups, 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 cups. Remember how I started off saying that, like, we have these intense emotions, but then we forget about it. This trumps all. Trump. That's why I laughed when this came out. Like, are you kidding me? And I'm not gonna go on some like Trump bashing spiel, because that could be all fucking day, but it matters. Guys, it matters. The same way that, you know, the Queen of Cups is sort of like the emotional spirit of the country. This is like, really, when you think about it, like, this is the embodiment, the physical, material embodiment of who we are and what we believe in. Is this who you believe in? You know, again, not to go on some rant, but like, people who voted for Trump don't even like him. Like, people were embarrassed to admit it. I've had friends who literally said, I voted for Trump, don't tell anybody. Isn't that fucking bizarre? This matters. If we want this. The safe family. Look, we have 2 10s, guys. This is what's possible here. And they're the happiest 10s in the deck. Contentment, contentment, satisfaction, fulfillment. These are both like the safe family, you know? That's what we all want, right? Like, we're animals. We want to keep our family safe. Like, we're driven by that above all. But there are more ways to keep your family safe than having a nice home. And then the 6 of Cups. To me, a card of giving, of generosity. But in this sense, like, I mean, like, look at the cities in these two cards, right? They look like the same place almost. It's almost like his beams are like shining down. Do you see that? Like, the stuff that's radiating from his crown is like the light that's here in this corner. Like, that's what you want in a leader, right? Remember what I was saying about Leo? This is what you want in a leader, someone whose light shines and inspires and pushes people to be generous, to be loving, to have charity and empathy and compassion. But what I'll also say is, like, I normally don't see this card that often as a card of the past like most readers do, but right now it's sort of like I'm really feeling just like the history of who and what we are as a nation, you know? Like, this is what's like coming to me right now with the Six of Cups. It's like we have a heritage that's complicated and difficult and sometimes not so great, but sometimes also really great. And the best thing about like dealing with the past is that you can take what works and let go of what doesn't. Like, let go of what doesn't work. Like, maybe in the most radical sense, the Second Amendment doesn't work anymore. I mean, think about it. Think about the spirit of that amendment. We were a country that just fought a revolution for our freedom and independence, where we had to form citizen armies, militias, where people were concerned about the ability to protect themselves from a tyrannical government by having guns to fight back, right? But do we live in that world anymore? Well, certainly when it comes to the actual technology of it all, we were talking muskets back then. Now we're talking about automatic rifles that can kill 60 people in 10 minutes. One person can do that in 2017. What is the spirit of our country? What did our forefathers want? Both our like literal ancestors who moved here, because we all moved here, right? And like what the founders wanted our country to be. This, right? This is what we pride ourselves on so much. Is that America was this country. Not this one. Never this one, right? Never. This is exactly what we didn't want. But let's face the facts. We are humans and we work well in a society that has like a leader. This is important. Who is that going to be? What are they going to represent? What are they going to embody? And this doesn't just have to be like, I laugh because I thought of Trump. It doesn't have to be just the president. You know, besides like the emotional element of seeing what happened and like keeping this in your consciousness, like who you vote for is so important. It doesn't matter if it's Democrat or Republican. Those are just parties, right? But they are real in the sense that they represent ideas. And we can debate. I love a healthy debate. I love like the solution, the idea of the solution being somewhere in the middle. But what does one party represent right now on this issue? Stock market going up. 60 people died. Something like 500 people were wounded. 60 families lost somebody. For what? Also, might I add, at a country music festival, like, this shit is not... It affects everybody. It doesn't matter if you support gun rights, like, those guns could be turned on you one day, so why don't you make it, like, fucking smart? You know? Like, I don't know what else to say, guys. That's why I'm gonna pick up the oracle, because, like, it's kind of the same shit all over again every time, right? And yeah, I have my beliefs, but I think the cards are also speaking for themselves. The sleeping man represents the unconscious. What did I say before about staying woke? I know that's like a cutesy way of saying it, but like, this card represents literally at many times like not having your eyes open, right? But in a more ephemeral way, like ethereal way, like what we're talking about before with the Queen of Cups. The spirit, right? The unconscious, what drives you from the innermost depths of yourself. We're not conscious right now. We're telling ourselves lies all the time. And you know, you can't change the world, you can't change how people think, but change the way you think. If you're watching this, wake yourself up to it. Like, read about like the statistics. Read about the policies that are being supported or put out there, and make up your mind about what makes sense. But the worst you can do is say, let's do nothing. You know, next time somebody says, like, you know, drop a statistic on them about how more people are killed by gun violence in domestic disputes than, like, for self-defense, right? Like, that's the truth. Those are our numbers. That's what guns are used for most, to be honest. Suicide and killing your wife, like, literally. Alright. Time to change, guys. But I don't think that we have to change that much. I feel like we're already kind of this. So I like that this card is named Evolve. Like, it's not about transforming as much, it's sort of like pushing to the next level. Like, we have a past. Like, who are we gonna be now? Scorpion, caution, lion, leadership. Do you see what I see? Remember what I said in the beginning about how lion came up before, and it was all about like who we want to be and what we want to embody? You can't keep going down this path. We can't. Can't. We're being broken by this. People are afraid to go out in public, to go to a parade, to go to a concert, to go to a bar. Can't keep going on like this. At the bottom of the deck, trees, community, like it's about community, guys. We don't have to all love each other, we don't have to all like each other, but we all have to really realize at some point that we're interdependent on each other, whether we like it or not. And you can have your differences, you can disagree with somebody, you can not like them. But can you really so easily forget that we're all connected? In the like fluffy new agey spiritual way, sure, but like in the literal, like when you walk outside your door in the morning, like how many different people do you interact with? How many people do you depend on? The person who built your door, the person who paved the streets, the person driving the bus, the person who is, I don't know, fucking operating the elevator at your job, like whatever. And right under that, but you know what? We're not going to dwell on the fear because this trumps that, right? When you have this, your fears don't go away, but there's less to fear. When you have safety nets, when you have common sense regulations, people can get together and agree on, this is nothing. But what does it take? And this is you guys. This is all of us. You guys watching this, the guys who might just light a candle tonight, just, or whatever it may be, however you choose to act in response to this, like, definitely get involved in politics, you know, definitely. The fact of the matter is that there are more people in this country who agree with this common sense gun regulations, but they don't vote. They don't make themselves heard. So this gets like twisted up and like distorted, and we don't even know who we are anymore. Alright, well, I love you guys so much. That's why I'm doing this. Like, it's not to preach, it's to like have a dialogue and like touch other people's lives in some way. If you are hurting from what's been happening, I hope this brings you a little bit of healing. If you've been feeling helpless, I hope this inspires you or empowers you to realize that there's something, no matter how small it is, even if it's just educating yourself, that you can do. I feel better. Not like the work is done by any means, but it's like I feel kind of supported, you know, and this is what I want to do, is kind of supported by the community that's out there, and also like it's like the spirit is with us, whatever you call that, and it's talking to us right now. It's telling us that with each other, if we hold each other accountable and honest, we're really, really going to be okay. We're going to be more than okay. We're going to thrive. This stops being complacency when this is involved. This is the material. This is... Isn't that beautiful? Like, in the beginning we were looking at the absence of this and all of this, and now look at what we have. The two together. The balance. Material fulfillment and emotional fulfillment. Like, what is better than that? Right? Alright guys, so it's been great talking to you. I hope to see you again soon. I will have more of the signs videos up very shortly. And love you. Be well. Take care of each other.